do this? Help me, I'm falling!
They call her witch. They say she has stolen all the love and affection their parents give them. We must kill her, Mide said. Let's bury her alive, Bolanle added. They hated her so much they would do anything to get rid of her. But what they didn't know was this child is no ordinary one. Their decision will shake the kingdom. Let's go back to how it all began. But before I start, please subscribe, like and comment. This keeps me encouraged. Also, do let me know where you are watching from. I would like to know which part of the world my amazing friends are watching from. Enjoy the story. The sun was very hot in the village of Iliayo. It was so hot that the red dirt on the ground cracked. In one small house lived Mr. Dayo and his wife Omotola. They had 3 daughters and Mr. Dayo has been looking for a male child. One day, Omotola went to the river. She knelt down crying and begging the river to grant her a son. The river goddess appeared to her. She told her she would give birth to a special child who would change her family forever. 9 months later, she gave birth to a girl named Simi. Simi was a miracle. When she was born, she was not like any other child. She had very long hair that wrapped around her tiny body. When she smiled, her hair glows, and when she cries, it becomes dark. As she grew up, her hair grew and grew. It did not stay short like the other girls. It flowed behind her like a long black river. When Simi walked to the market, the old men and women would stop and look. Look at her hair, they would say. The Orishas have blessed her. But inside her own home, Simi was not a miracle. She was a target. Simi had 3 big sisters, Taye, Bolanle and Mide. They were not ugly girls, but their hearts were made of dry wood, just waiting for a spark of envy to set them on fire. They hated Simi so much. One morning, the sisters walked to the river to get water. Simi walked with them. She carried a heavy pot on her head, but she walked like a queen. Her long hair was wrapped in a beautiful cloth. Look at her, Taye whispered to the others. She thinks she is so special. She doesn't even scrub the floors like we do. Mother is too afraid Simi would trip on that long hair. It is not fair, Bolane said. Her eyes were very angry. All the boys in the village bring gifts for her. I am the oldest. They should be bringing gifts for me. Mide, the youngest of the 3, was the meanest. Mother and father love her more. They give her the biggest piece of meat in the soup. They give her the best place to sleep. She is stealing our lives. We have to make her go away. Simi felt the bad feelings in the house. She tried to be very, very kind. She did her sisters' work. She gave them her pretty beads. But the more she was kind, the more they hated her. One afternoon, the sun was so hot that even the lizards went to sleep under the rocks. Simi's father was at the farm, her mother was at the market. The 3 sisters went to find Simi. Simi, Taye said, her voice sounded sweet like sugar, but it was a lie. We went into the bush yesterday. We found a secret place with big red flowers. We thought you could put them in your hair to look pretty for mother. Simi's eyes got very big. She loved flowers. Really? You found flowers for me? Yes, Mide said, holding a basket. But we must go now before the sun goes down and the forest gets dark. Simi followed. They walked away from the village. They walked past the goats. They walked past the houses. Soon the forest became very thick. The trees were tall and the leaves were everywhere. The air smelled like wet dirt. Simi felt a little bit scared. It is very far, Simi whispered. She held her long hair tight so it would not catch on the thorns. Just a little more, Bolanle laughed, but her laugh sounded like a mean bark. They came to a place with green and yellow grass. In the middle of the grass was a big hole. It was a very deep hole. The sisters had spent 3 days digging it in secret. They had worked hard because they hated Simi so much. The hole was dark and cold. Where are the flowers? Simi asked. She leaned over to look. The 3 sisters stopped walking. They turned around. Their faces were not sweet anymore. Their eyes were red with anger. There are no flowers, Taye yelled. She reached out and grabbed Simi's long, beautiful hair. Simi screamed.
That's enough.
You think you are a queen? Mide shouted. She pushed Simi's shoulder. Let's see how pretty you are when you are stuck in the dirt. Please, Simi cried. Tears were falling down her face. Sisters, why are you doing this? I haven't done anything wrong. You think so? You are stealing our lives, Bolanle said. All three sisters put their hands on Simi. They gave a very big, hard push. Simi screamed as she fell into the dark. She hit the bottom with a loud sound. It hurt very much. She looked up and saw her sisters. They were grabbing big branches and bushes. They threw them over the top of the hole to hide it. "Goodbye," Taye shouted down. "Now the village will forget you." They went back to the village crying to everyone who cared to listen that a tiger attacked them in the bush, and because Simi's hair was too long, she couldn't run fast, so the tiger caught her and ate her. Their parents almost lost their minds when they got the news. In the bush, the light went away. It was totally dark. Simi lay in the mud. Her beautiful hair was messy and dirty. She cried and cried, "Mama, Papa, please help me." But nobody could hear her. Only the forest was listening. Simi stayed in the dark for a long time. She thought she was going to die. But then she heard a sound, like someone was approaching. Simi scrambled back against the wall. She was shaking. "Who is there?" she asked. "Is it a ghost?" A low, grumbling sound came. It sounded like a growl, but then it became a sigh. "Who is down there, Lo?" a voice said. Simi froze. The voice was deep and scratchy, like two rocks rubbing together, but it was speaking her language. "My name is Simi. Please help me," Simi cried. "Hold on, I will get you out," the voice said. Simi let out a scream. When she saw who she had been talking to, a big, strong monkey. He had fur the color of charcoal, but his eyes were not like animal eyes. They were the eyes of a person who was very sad. "A monkey that talks?" Simi asked. Her voice was trembling. The monkey looked at her. He looked at her long, dirty hair. He felt pity for her. Simi shook with fear. Her heart was beating like a small drum. She looked at the big monkey. He had long arms and a very sad face. "Are you going to eat me?" Simi asked. Her voice was very small. The monkey shook his head. "No," he said. His voice was scratchy like sand. "I am not a monster." The monkey went into the hole. He was very strong. He grabbed the walls of the pit with his big hands. He told Simi to climb on his back and hold on tight. Simi wrapped her arms around his furry neck. She buried her face in his back. He climbed up and up, jumping over the thorns the mean sisters had thrown down. When they got out, the forest was dark and scary. The trees looked like giant hands reaching for them. "I cannot go home," Simi cried. "My sisters will kill me." "You mean your own sisters did this to you?" the monkey asked. The monkey looked at her. He saw how beautiful she was, even with dirt on her face. "I have a place," he said. "It is a tall tower made of stone. Nobody goes there. You can hide." They walked for a long time. The monkey moved fast and Simi followed. Finally, they saw it. It was a very, very tall tower. It had no doors. It had no stairs. It just sat there in the middle of the trees. "How do we get in?" Simi asked. "You must go to the top," he said. He picked her up and climbed the outside of the tower like a lizard. He put her inside a small window at the very top. The room was filled with soft leaves and old blankets. It was safe, but Simi was sad. She was all alone in the sky. "I have to go find food for us," the monkey said. "But listen to me, Simi. Do not come to the window for anyone, only for me." "How will I know it is you?" she asked. The monkey made a loud sound. "Hoot, hoot, clack!" He clapped his hands 3 times. "When you hear that sound, it is me," the monkey said. "Then you can open the window for me." Days went by. Simi lived in the tower. Every morning, the monkey went into the bush. He looked for sweet mangoes and clean water for Simi. Every evening, he came back. Hoot, hoot, clack! Simi would hear the signal and her heart would jump with joy. She would open the window. The monkey would grab the wall and climb up. The next day, the sun was bright. Simi was lonely, so she began to sing a soft song her mother used to sing. Her voice floated out of the window and down to the forest floor. Suddenly, she heard voices. angry voices. "I tell you, I heard her," a voice snapped. It was Mide, the youngest sister. Simi froze. She crawled to the window and looked down through the leaves. Her 3 sisters were standing right below the tower. They were carrying baskets of wood. "Simi is dead, Mide. The tiger ate her, remember?" Taye said, but she looked nervous. She looked at the tower. "This place feels strange. Let's go." "No," Mide said. "I heard a song. It sounded just like that girl." Simi's heart was drumming against her ribs. She accidentally knocked a small stone off the window ledge. Clink! It fell right near Bolanle's foot. The sisters looked up. Simi pulled her head back and hid in the dark corner. She held her breath. She stayed so still she felt like a statue. Below, the sisters argued for a long time. Finally, the forest grew quiet. They were gone. Simi began to cry. Even here, her sisters were haunting her. When the moon came out, Simi heard the signal, hoot hoot clack, and then 3 loud claps. Simi hurried to the window. When the monkey climbed up, he almost fell. Simi quickly let down her hair for him. The monkey grabbed the hair and climbed up fast. When he got inside, he saw Simi's red eyes. "They were here," Simi sobbed. "My sisters, they are looking for me." The monkey sat next to her. He didn't have words to fix her heart, so he just stayed quiet. He reached into his pouch and pulled out a beautiful ripe mango. He peeled it and gave it to her. "Don't be scared, you are safe here," the monkey said. The monkey told her stories about the forest. He told her about the stars. He was very kind. He brushed the tangles out of her hair with a wooden comb. Simi started to forget that he was a monkey. She only saw his kind eyes. "Why are you so nice to me?" Simi asked. But he didn't respond. He had a sad look on his face. Simi felt sorry for him. She reached out and touched his hand. His fur was soft. "Simi," he said, "I think you are the most beautiful girl in the world, not because of your hair, but because you are kind to a monster like me." Simi looked at him. She didn't see a monkey anymore. She saw a friend. She saw someone who loved her more than her own sisters did. "You are not a monster," Simi said. She leaned forward. She was nervous. Her hands were shaking. She closed her eyes and kissed the monkey on his fuzzy cheek. Suddenly, the room began to glow. A bright light, like the sun, filled the tower. Simi had to cover her eyes. There was a loud whoosh sound, like the wind. When the light went away, Simi gasped. The monkey was gone. Standing in front of her was a very handsome man. He wore royal clothes made of gold thread. His skin was smooth and he was tall and strong. "Who are you?" Simi asked, her mouth wide open. The man smiled. It was the same kind smile the monkey had. "My name is Prince Ade," he said. "Your kiss broke the heavy chains on my soul." "A long time ago, I was very mean," he whispered. "I was proud. I thought I was better than everyone. A spirit saw my heart and said, if you want to act like a beast, you will look like a beast. And then, poof, I became a monkey." Simi was so happy she cried. But deep down, she was also scared. She remembered her sisters. She remembered the pit. "Come with me to my kingdom. Let me give you the life your family denied you. You will be loved and worshipped," Prince Ade said. "We must go back to my village first," Simi said. "I want my mother and father to know I am alive." Prince Ade took her hand. "We will go and I will protect you." Simi and Prince Ade walked out of the forest. The prince held Simi's hand tightly. He looked so brave in his gold clothes. Simi felt like she was in a beautiful dream. Soon, they saw the red dust of Ile-Ayo. They saw the houses and the marketplace. When the people saw Simi, they dropped their baskets. "Simi is alive," they shouted. "The girl with the golden long hair has returned." Simi's mother and father ran out of their houses. They cried and hugged her. They could not believe their eyes. But standing behind them were the 3 sisters, Taye, Bolanle, and Mide. Their faces did not have smiles. Their faces were grey with fear and red with anger. But Simi did not say anything to her parents. She kept quiet. "How is she alive?" Mide whispered, her voice like a snake. "And look at that man," Taye hissed. "He is a prince. She fell in a hole and found a kingdom. It is not fair." The prince stood tall. "I am Prince Ade," he told the family. "Simi saved my life. I want to take her to my palace. I want to show her my kingdom." The sisters could not take it. The jealousy inside them grew so big that it felt like it would burst. That night, before Simi could leave for the palace, the sisters went to her room. Simi was sitting by the window, brushing her long, beautiful hair. She looked so happy. "Sister," Mide said, stepping into the room. She was hiding something behind her back. It was a sharp, rusty knife. "We are so sorry," Mide said, but her eyes were cold. "Please find a place in your heart to forgive us." Simi turned around to smile at them. "I forgive you. I love you so much." "Let us brush your hair one last time before you go to the palace," Taye said. Before Simi would know what's happening, Mide grabbed the long hair and hacked it off. The beautiful silk hair fell to the floor like dead leaves. "Now you are ugly," Mide laughed. "Now the prince will not want you." But then something terrible happened. The air in the room turned ice cold. The hair on the floor began to wiggle. It didn't stay as hair. It turned green and scaly. Each strand of hair became small, angry green snakes. The snakes were like crown on Simi's head. They grew out of her scalp. Instead of soft hair, she now had hundreds of hissing snakes on her head. Simi looked at her sisters. Her eyes were glowing with a strange, scary light. When Mide looked into Simi's eyes, Mide froze. She didn't just stop moving. Her skin turned to grey stone. She was now a statue of a girl frozen in a mean laugh. "A monster!" the other two sisters screamed. They ran out of the house, tripping over themselves. Simi looked in a mirror and let out a loud, painful cry. She saw the snakes wiggling on her head. She saw her scary eyes. "I am a monster," she sobbed. She was so scared that she ran. She ran out of the village. She ran back into the dark bush. She didn't want the prince to see her like this. She ran all the way back to the tall stone tower and climbed to the very top. She sat in the dark, covering her head with an old cloth, crying until her eyes were red. Suddenly, she heard a sound from below. Hoot, hoot, clack! It was the signal. The prince had found her. "Simi, drop down your hair," he called out. "I have no hair," Simi yelled back, her voice breaking. "Go away. I am a monster. If you look at me, you will turn to stone like my sister." But the prince did not go away. He was very strong. He used his hands and feet to climb the stone walls. He didn't care if it was dangerous. He scrambled through the window and stood in the room. Simi was huddled in the corner. "Don't look at me," she begged. The prince walked toward her. The snakes on Simi's head were hissing loudly. They were ready to bite. Their eyes were yellow and mean. But the prince didn't look at the snakes. He looked straight into Simi's crying eyes. "When I was a monkey, you didn't run away," he said softly. "You saw the man inside the fur. Now let me see the girl inside the snakes." He reached out and took her face in his hands. He didn't turn to stone. Why? Because his love was too strong for any curse. He leaned in and kissed her gently on her lips. As soon as his lips touched her skin, the snakes stopped hissing. They began to shrink. One by one, they turned back into soft gold silk. Her hair grew long again, flowing all the way down to the floor, even more beautiful than before. Simi was herself again. The prince took Simi to the palace, but he did not forget what the sisters did. He sent his guards to the village to pick up the stone statue of Mide. He placed it right at the front of the big palace gates for everyone to see. He hung a wooden sign around the statue's neck. It said, "Here stands a girl who had a heart of stone, so now her body is stone too." The two other sisters, Taye and Bolanle, were not allowed to be rich. To pay for their meanness, they had to work as servants in the palace. Every morning, when they walked through the gates to start their chores, they had to look at their sister made of stone. They had to remember that hate only brings coldness. Simi and Prince Ade lived very happily. Simi's hair stayed long and beautiful, and she used her power to make sure every child in the kingdom felt loved, no matter how different they looked. Her parents moved into the palace and living in luxury. The sun does not ask the moon for permission to shine, and the river does not stop flowing because someone throws a stone. If you spend your days digging a pit for your brother, you are only building a grave for your own joy. For a heart of gold will always find a crown, but a heart of stone will eventually turn to rock. Love sees the person, hate only sees the skin. Be like the silk, soft, strong, and beautiful from within. Thank you for watching. See you in my next story. Bye.